Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the world of precision manufacturing. We're going to figure out how all those plastic products that are, well, everywhere in our lives actually get made. And we'll do it by taking a deep dive into one of the key players in this space, Adm Group. I mean, just take a second and look around you. That sleek case on your smartphone, the dashboard in your car, maybe even that fancy new coffee maker on your counter. They're all born from this incredibly precise process called plastic injection molding. And it turns out Adm Group has pretty much turned this whole thing into an art form. So what's in the name? What does ADM actually stand for? Well, it's their entire philosophy: advanced, dedicated, and motivated. And listen, this isn't just some catchy acronym, it's a promise that really translates into higher quality and more reliable products for their customers, right from the very first sketch all the way to the finished product. All right, so to really get a handle on their success, we're going to follow their journey. We'll start with their foundation, then we'll get into their super precise process, check out their worldwide impact, and finally, get a little peek into their vision for what's next in manufacturing. Every great company starts with a rock-solid foundation. And for ADM, that foundation is built on two massive pillars: certified quality that you can absolutely count on, and the ability to produce on a scale that's, frankly, pretty impressive. So they kicked things off back in 2008 in Shenzhen, a huge hub for manufacturing, and they focused on quality right from the get-go. This timeline really tells the story. They grabbed key certifications like ISO 9001 for quality control, and then IATF 1699, which is basically the gold standard for the auto industry. That one proves they can handle the incredibly strict, no room for error demands of car manufacturers. Now let's talk scale. You have to remember, every single plastic part starts its life inside a mold. Well, ADM produces between 500 and 600 of these incredibly complex tools every single year. That kind of output is huge, and it means they can handle multiple massive projects at the same time for big brands all over the planet. And yeah, those molds definitely don't sit on a shelf collecting dust. Their two facilities pump out over 50 million plastic components a year. But here's the real kicker. It's not just about hitting big numbers. It's about maintaining microscopic precision across that massive scale. And trust me, that is a whole different ballgame. So how in the world do they pull off that kind of quality at that kind of scale? Well, it all comes down to a super meticulous process, where cutting-edge technology gets guided by expert human hands. It's the perfect partnership. They really offer the whole shebang, a complete end-to-end solution. It kicks off with designing the perfect mold, then they manufacture that mold with extreme precision, and then they ramp up for high-volume production. They even take care of the finishing touches like painting and final assembly. For a client, that means one single, reliable team for the entire project. Super streamlined. And here's the team that makes it all happen. What really jumps out at me here is that a full 80% of their 125-person team are the tool makers and the production staff. These are the skilled people on the factory floor, the ones directly crafting the products. That tells you a lot about their priorities. And this gives you a little taste of where all that work gets done. You've got these high-tech automated injection molding machines on one side and the tool-making workshop on the other. This is really where the magic happens, where digital designs get turned into these physical, high-strength steel molds that are ready to go into mass production. Now, to get that level of craftsmanship, you need some seriously advanced technology. They've got advanced CNC machines doing precise automated milling. But for the really tricky, intricate parts, they use something called EDM machines. These things literally use electrical sparks to carve out incredibly complex shapes that would be basically impossible to make any other way. And then CMMs make sure every single dimension is absolutely perfect, right down to the micrometer. Okay, so you've got all this incredible in-house skill and tech. What does that all add up to in the real world? Well, let's take a look at the industries they're powering and just how much they've grown. Their biggest market, making up a huge 65% of their business, is smart home appliances. So think about things like robotic vacuums, air fryers, all that cool stuff. They're also a major supplier to the auto industry, which, as we know, demands extreme reliability. And on top of that, they're serving the medical and electronic sectors too. And their reputation for quality, it's global. Almost half of their business is in Europe, and another 28% is over in North America. So we're not talking about a regional player here. ADM is a global supplier that is competing and winning on the world stage. This chart just spells it out perfectly, doesn't it? You can see that steady year-over-year climb in revenue from both their tooling and their molding businesses. You just don't get a growth curve that looks like that by accident. It tells you their reputation is rock solid and their strategy is clearly working. And here, this might just be the secret sauce behind that growth. ADM reinvests 20% of its profits right back into the company every single year. That cash goes directly into better equipment, new tech, and training for their team. So they're not just sitting back and maintaining what they have, they are actively, aggressively investing in their own future. So what does that future actually look like? Well, ADM has a very clear and pretty ambitious vision for where they're headed next. Their mission statement really says it all. It's not just about making parts, it's about blowing past international standards and, this is the key part, being a strategic partner. You hear that? They don't just want to be a supplier you call when you need something. They want a seat at the table, to be part of the innovation from the very beginning. And their vision for getting there is built on these 4 solid pillars: leading the pack with innovation, expanding their global footprint, building even deeper partnerships with their clients, and committing to a more sustainable way of manufacturing. It's a really clear and powerful roadmap. And that global expansion pillar? Yeah, that's not just some corporate buzzword. They're already making moves, planning strategic investments to build out manufacturing in South America and Vietnam. They're taking their expertise to new, fast-growing markets. Because at the end of the day, a company's vision is only as strong as the team that brings it to life. All the machines and mission statements in the world don't mean a thing without the right people. This is the team turning those ambitious plans into reality, from the engineers and toolmakers all the way to the leadership that's paving the way forward. Which kind of leaves us with one big question, doesn't it? In today's world, with more complex products and supply chains that can feel pretty fragile, just how valuable is a partner that can handle the entire manufacturing journey with this level of precision? It seems pretty clear that companies like ADM aren't just making plastic parts. They're literally building the foundation for the products of tomorrow. Thanks for diving into this with us.